So you're thinking of making Puglia your next holiday destination? We had an amazing time discovering this part of southern Italy, so we decided to put together this 14-night itinerary to help you make the most of your time exploring the coastal towns, whitewashed villages, historic architecture, and delicious food that make Puglia such a hidden gem. Day 1 kicks off in Bari. This is where you land and where your Puglia adventure officially begins. Bari has a major international airport, so it's one of the easiest entry points into the region. Bari is actually the capital of Puglia, and it's got this cool mix of old and new. The historical town, Bari Vecchia, is full of narrow streets with laundry hanging between buildings. The city has a lively and vibrant atmosphere and some of the best food you'll find in Puglia. During our stay in Bari, we really focused on diving into the local food scene. From street food and traditional pasta to casual aperitivo spots, it was all about eating our way through the city. Once we checked into our accommodation, we headed out to get a feel for the city. If you happen to be in Bari on a Sunday morning, definitely check out the Mercato dell'Antiquariato e dell'Usato. It's just outside the Old Town walls in Piazza del Ferrarese. It's full of quirky antiques and secondhand treasures. We honestly weren't expecting to buy anything, but ended up walking away with a little mocha coffee pot for €2 and a silver ring for 10. Totally worth it. It's one of those markets where you never know what you'll find, and that's half the fun. After that, we spent some time just wandering through Bari Vecchia. It's not the most polished old town, but honestly, that's exactly why we loved it. It's full of character, with narrow, winding streets, old buildings, and this raw, lived-in charm that's hard to fake. One of the most well-known spots is Strada Arcobasso.
Strada Arcobasso, which is the famous street in Bari where all the nonnas are making orecchiette.
Literally.
One of the most picturesque streets we've seen here in Bari.
It's definitely a bit of a tourist magnet, and we'd heard that some of the products can be overpriced or underwhelming, so we just tried the taralli, which were not the best in Puglia, but still fun to try. That said, we still think it's worth checking out. It's a cool cultural moment. And if you're going to stop and take photos or film, we recommend buying a small bag of pasta or taralli as a way to support the locals. It's just a respectful thing to do. After soaking up the atmosphere in Bari Vecchia, wander over to Piazza Mercantile, which is just a few minutes away. It's a lively square, perfect for people watching or grabbing a bite. If you're after something affordable and local, we seriously recommend grabbing a puccia from a spot called La Puccia. No frills, just really good street food. A puccia is basically a traditional pugliese sandwich, the soft, slightly chewy bun filled with whatever you like.
So we are at La Puccia. This place comes highly regarded, amazing reviews. They make these incredible traditional puccia. We are having the classic Italian with prosciutto, mozzarella, and tomatoes. 2 panzerotti over here, again traditional from Puglia. These are sort of like, imagine tiny deep-fried pizzas, basically, filled with something inside. €1.50 for a pepperoni.
And it's so good. Another spot worth checking out is Castello Svevo, Bari's massive fortress right near the old town. Even if you don't go inside, it's seriously impressive from the outside. This big, dramatic structure that gives you a sense of the city's history.
So we are at Castello Svevo in Bari now. Sadly, we are not allowed with backpacks. And also, they have no lockers left. Anyway, this is a really cool spot. It's 900 years old. It was built by a Norman king. Wish we could have seen it from the inside. Maybe next time.
Nonetheless, it's very cool to see from the outside as well.
I think we are photobombing their photos. They're trying to have a nice Sunday photo.
Take a slow stroll along the Lungomare, Bari's seaside promenade. It's the kind of walk where you don't really need a plan. Just follow the coastline, breathe in the sea air, and enjoy the view. If you've got the time and the energy, keep walking for about 15 more minutes and you'll reach Pane e Pomodoro Beach. This is actually a sandy beach, so it's great if you want to just chill out by the water.
For what it's worth, we are now on the 8th of October, and there are tens of people in the water.
As far as inner city beaches go, this is actually quite nice. And if you're visiting Bari on a weekend between April and October, definitely try to catch the Mercantino del Lungomare di Bari. It's this super cute farmers market right along the waterfront. It's got everything from fresh produce and local wine to craft beer, cheese, honey, and a bit of street food as well. And even though it sounds like it would be expensive, it's actually really affordable. We paid €1 for a glass of wine and €3 for a panzerotto, and a bowl of pasta is just €5.
It's hearty, it's delicious, it's
It's like a meal, practically.
panzerotti, generally speaking, chef's kiss.
Look at that cheese. If the market's not open and you're looking for a great aperitivo spot, check out La Birra Porto Sicuro. It's tucked away on one of the side streets in Bari Vecchia. They've got a solid selection of craft beers and locally made wines, and it's the perfect little stop before dinner. For dinner, we chose La Cantina del Zio, which came highly recommended. There was a queue, we waited around 40 minutes, but it was not too bad. You can actually buy a glass of wine while you wait, which makes the time pass quite nicely. Horia had the orecchiette with arrabbiata sauce and burrata, and it was amazing.
We're starting day 2 with a typical Italian breakfast at Antico Café del Carmine. The coffee here is great and it's guaranteed to wake you up. Also, you shouldn't miss out on the pistachio croissants. They're absolutely worth it. The tables are set out along a busy little street, mostly pedestrian, so you can sit back, sip your cappuccino, and do a bit of people watching. Next up, another queue. This time about 30 minutes, but totally worth it. We were after the famous focaccia barese from Panificio Santa Rita, and clearly we weren't the only ones. There were loads of locals in line too, always a good sign when the locals are the ones waiting. We found a quiet spot just outside the Basilica di San Nicola to try the focaccia.
The best one I've had.
Worth it?
Yeah.
Worth the time?
Yeah, I guess. It's so good. The dough is so good. It like melts in your mouth.
The flavor of the tomatoes is incredible, but somehow it's not even that. They could have added anything to this dough, it would have worked.
Yeah.
While you're near the Basilica di San Nicola, definitely take the time to go inside. It's free to enter and you would honestly be ashamed to miss it. The church itself is stunning and you can also visit the tomb of St. Nicholas, yes, the original Santa Claus. It's a really special place both historically and architecturally. If you're starting to feel a bit hungry again, we'd recommend grabbing a steak sandwich from Beccheria. It's a proper local spot, and for just €5, you can get this simple but delicious sandwich packed with slices of steak. Nothing fancy, just really good.
You can eat so well here for so little money.
Yeah.
If you're still craving focaccia, you could also try El Focacciaro. There was no queue when we went here, which was a nice change, and the focaccia was actually pretty good. That said, it didn't quite live up to the one from Santa Rita, so if you're only going for one, we'd still go with that. For aperitivo, we've got two solid recommendations. First, there's La Ciclatera Sotto il Mare. It's got a super chill vibe and a beautiful view over Porto Vecchio, especially at night. Great spot for a drink with a view. Or, if you're staying around the Old Town, check out Voglio Pane e Vino in Piazza Mercantile. It's lively, central, and perfect for people watching over a glass of wine or a spritz. For dinner, you must go to L'Antica Pizzeria da Michele, easily one of the best spots for pizza and beers in Bari. We shared a calzone, had some local amber beer and a glass of wine, and the whole meal came to just €20. Great food, great price. Right next to the pizzeria, you'll find La Salumeria, and honestly, you have to stop in. They sell fresh taralli, which are these small, crunchy, savory pretzels that are typical of Puglia. The onion ones are our absolute favorites. And if you're like me and you're still a bit hungry after dinner, grabbing a large slice of pizza at Il Veliero is a great call. Their margherita pizza is super simple and delicious. It was the perfect way to wrap up a full day of eating our way through Bari. We recommend starting day 3 by picking up your rental car from Bari airport and making your way down the coast to Monopoli, which will be home for the next couple of nights. Once you arrive, settle into your accommodation and go out exploring. Monopoli is this beautiful little coastal town with a working fishing port and one of the most charming historic centers in the region. Fun fact, it has over 15 churches packed into its old town alone, and despite the tourism, it still feels very much alive and local, which we loved. Since you have 2 nights in Monopoli and plenty of time to explore the old town later, we recommend driving about 10 minutes south along the coast to Tenta Mare restaurant for lunch. The views here are incredible. You get the beach, the sea, and even a glimpse of the old town in the distance. The whole place has this really calm, laid-back vibe, and the seafood was fantastic. If you're visiting when it's warm, you can even grab a sun lounger on the beach and spend a few hours here. We came in late September, and even though it was a bit cloudy, it was still super pleasant to sit out on the terrace and enjoy the view. After lunch, head back to Monopoli and take a slow walk through the old town. The streets here are absolutely beautiful. Whitewashed walls, little archways, pops of color from balconies and plants. Just wander aimlessly, take your time and let yourself get a little lost. If you're like me and need a pre-dinner snack, stop by Il Buon Gustaio for a delicious mortadella and provolone puccia. This first day we spent in Monopoli was a bit rainy, so we ended up stopping for an indoor aperitivo at Caffè Letterario. For dinner, we recommend going to Al Vicoletto, a romantic, cozy restaurant that also serves delicious local food. We were lucky to get a table since it was off-season, but if you're visiting during busier months, it's definitely a good idea to book ahead. It's a popular one for a reason. End the day with a slow stroll through Monopoli's old town. It's beautifully lit at night with warm lights that make the whole place feel calm and timeless.
Day 4 starts with a short drive to Polignano a Mare, just 15 minutes from Monopoli. If you're not driving, you can easily hop on a quick train. It's a simple and convenient way to get there. Polignano a Mare is one of the most iconic coastal towns in Puglia, famous for its dramatic cliffs, whitewashed buildings, and a stunning view over Lama Monachile beach. There are a few viewpoints in Polignano you definitely won't want to miss. Start with Pietra Piatta for a wide view over the bay, then head to Belvedere su Lama Monachile, probably the most iconic view of the town, overlooking the famous beach. Also check out Punto Panoramico and Terrazza Santo Stefano. Both offer different angles of the cliffs and coastline, and they're perfect spots for a photo or just to stop and take it all in. If you're up for a bit of exploring, it's definitely worth booking a 1-hour boat ride around the bay. You'll get a totally different perspective of Polignano and see some of the beautiful grottos that line the coast. It's a really special way to experience the town from the water. Exploring Polignano's old town is one of the highlights. It's compact, walkable, and filled with simple charm. Whitewashed homes, stone archways, and quiet corners to discover as you go. We took a break for gelato at Morea Gelatieri, which is a great spot just outside the old town. The pistachio with raspberry flavor was really good. A bit unexpected, but it worked beautifully. Definitely a nice little treat while exploring the area. Now Now it's time to finally head down to the famous Lama Monachile beach in Polignano. This beach is rocky and gets very popular during the summer months. It's a public beach, so you can access it for free, and the views of the surrounding cliffs are absolutely stunning. The whole place has this quintessential Mediterranean vibe: crystal clear water, dramatic scenery, and that laid-back atmosphere. Before leaving Polignano a Mare, make sure to admire Ponte Borbonico.
This was built almost 2,000 years ago by Emperor Trajanus, and back in the day he built Via Traiana, which would connect Rome to Brindisi, which is a port town close to Lecce. We'll get there at some point. And from Brindisi, the Roman legions would board and basically go all over the world to conquer places. So the Roman legions would leave Rome, walk all the way to Brindisi and cross over this very bridge. Maybe go to this beach that we just went to? I don't know, potentially. But it's cool that all those legions used to cross this very place.
You can definitely eat in Polignano Mare, but we decided to head back to Monopoli for a late lunch. We ate at Ristorante Piazza Palmieri, located in this gorgeous town square with amazing views. Here we tried a very traditional dish, orecchiette with turnip tops, a classic of the region. One thing to note about Italy is that many restaurants close between lunch and dinner service, so we were lucky to find one that stayed open during that time. If you're eating at the right lunch hour though, there are some great places to check out, like Trattoria al Borgo, or if you're into fine dining, at Alchimia. After lunch, take a stroll through the beautiful streets of Monopoli and head to Porto Antico.
We are here now in Porto Antico in Monopoli, which, as the name says, is actually an ancient port. This is the oldest part of the town. So whereas the palace next to where we ate was built 300 years ago, and the castle we just went past is like 500 years old. This is actually 2,000 years old.
Oh. There's a beautiful sandy beach right in the town center called Cala Porta Vecchia, and it's definitely worth a visit. If you're lucky enough to be here in the summer, you can enjoy a swim in the calm, crystal clear water. Or if you want to mix things up like we did, you can hop in the car and drive 10 minutes south of Monopoli to Calette di Torre Cintola. It's a pretty unique spot with a beach surrounded by old ruins, perfect for those looking for something a little different. It's time for our final evening in Monopoli. On your way to dinner, take some time to explore the town's beautiful churches. One you won't want to miss is the Church of Purgatory, which has a unique and slightly eerie vibe. Also, be sure to admire the impressive Cathedral of Monopoli from the small square right in front of it. Such a small town and such an impressive square. This is one of the most beautiful old towns I've ever seen. For dinner, we had one of our favorite meals in all of Puglia at Osteria San Giovanni. I went for the grilled swordfish, and Horia tried the slow-cooked pugliese capocolo, that's traditional pork shoulder, and both dishes were incredible. It was a perfect way to end our time in Monopoli. Head back, get some well-needed rest, because tomorrow we're on the move again to a brand new spot.
Hop in the car and take a quick drive for about an hour to Alberobello, a place that's famous for its Trulli houses and has a UNESCO World Heritage status. When you get to Alberobello, you've got options for where to stay. You can go for an apartment in the new town. It's more affordable and gives you plenty of space. Or if you want the full Alberobello experience, you can stay in one of those traditional Trulli houses. They're smaller, a bit pricier, but it's a unique experience you won't forget. Alright, it's time to get out and explore. make sure you stop by Mado Filoneria Pugliese for lunch. You've got to try their figlione pugliese with burrata, prosciutto and almond flakes. It was hands down one of our favorite sandwiches in Puglia. Grabbing a puccia from La Lira is also a solid choice. Next, let's head over to Rione Monti. This is the oldest part of Alberobello and it's where you'll find the highest concentration of those iconic Trulli houses. It's also the area with the most traditional shops and local craft stalls, making it the perfect place to really immerse yourself in the charm and history of the town. By now, it's probably time for aperitivo. We highly recommend stopping by Trulli e Puglia wine bar. They've got a fantastic selection of local wines and craft beers, making it the perfect spot to unwind and enjoy the atmosphere. Right across the street from the wine bar, you can get some of the best panoramic views of the town.
Seeing as the other panoramic spots here in Alberobello are slightly overrun with people, I found this cool little hack. If you go to Bar Rione Monti down here and you just get a coffee or anything, as a customer you're allowed to access this panoramic terrace up here where you get incredible views over the Trulli and literally just over the whole of Alberobello, and it's just so beautiful. It's almost sunset time right now, but this is an incredible spot to get really cool unobstructed views.
We really think it's worth spending a night in Alberobello rather than just doing a day trip. During the day, the whitewashed houses look stunning in the sun, and it's great to explore, but it can get a bit crowded with tourists. However, just after sunset, the town calms down a lot, and that's when you get to enjoy the beautifully lit streets in peace. Before dinner, take some time to enjoy the quieter streets of the town and head to this incredible Belvedere point at the edge of Rione Aia Piccola. It's the perfect spot to admire the sunset and take in the views.
Sunset in Alberobello. Clear skies, it's so beautiful.
I cannot
Look
believe
at these colors. Such a prime spot.
there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
Wow. We got the Trulli over there, we got the sunset over there. So we found this panoramic view spot, and there's only one small neighborhood here in Alberobello that we have not seen yet. So that's where we're going next.
Take a walk through Rione Aia Piccola. This area is more residential and quieter compared to the rest of the town, with narrow streets lined by traditional Trulli houses. It's a lovely spot to get a real feel for local life in a less crowded setting. We recommend going back to Rione Monti because exploring it after dark offers a completely different experience. It's much calmer and you can really enjoy the atmosphere. We also stopped for a craft beer at Malart. They have a fantastic range of beers, and we knew it was a great spot when we saw that we were the only foreigners there. Head to Trattoria Amatuli for dinner. It's a traditional spot with fantastic food, a great atmosphere and really good prices. Everything we tried was amazing. The tortelli stuffed with mushrooms, bacon and tomatoes, and the beef with mushrooms were absolutely delicious. Quick tip, it's a good idea to book a table for lunch and dinner, especially during peak hours in Alberobello. The most popular restaurants almost never have free tables if you just walk in.
Day 6 begins with leaving Alberobello and making your way to your next accommodation, in Ostuni. On your way to Ostuni, be sure to stop in the charming town of Cisternino and explore the old town for about an hour. The town offers stunning views of the surrounding Pugliese landscape. Looking back on our trip, we can honestly say that the streets of Cisternino's old town were some of the most beautiful we came across. This city center is such an unexpected surprise. It's so beautiful and so manicured, so well kept. So many handmade decorations.
Yeah, floral ornaments.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And so many flowers as well. It's so worth coming here, even
just for an hour. You
Yeah,
don't need more than an hour just to walk around the old town.
Your final stop before reaching Ostuni is lunch at Il Cortiletto, a traditional Italian trattoria in the small village of Speziale. It's super popular, so make sure to book your table online. It was one of the most beautifully decorated and authentic restaurants we've seen in Puglia. The food was fantastic, and the prices were really affordable. We had orecchiette with ragu and meatballs, and they were absolutely delicious. Now it's time to head to Ostuni, also known as the White City. Ostuni is famous for its whitewashed buildings that create a stunning contrast against the blue sky. It's also one of the oldest towns in Puglia, with roots going back to the Stone Age. You'll typically find spacious apartments for rent in historical buildings. These places often feature tall, star-vaulted ceilings and, in many cases, come with a beautiful rooftop terrace where you can relax and take in the stunning view of the city. Since it's already afternoon, we recommend taking a relaxed walk through the town, enjoying the beauty of the white walls of the old town. As you stroll along the historic area, you'll find plenty of spots where you can sit back and enjoy an aperitivo with a fantastic view of the sea. The town looks absolutely beautiful when it's lit up at night, so be sure to take a stroll through the streets of the old town before you sit down for dinner. We decided to eat at Casa San Giacomo as we heard that Madonna celebrated 2 of her birthdays here. In hindsight, we probably should have chosen a different restaurant. It was one of the least memorable meals we had in Puglia. It's day 7. You'll spend the first half of the day exploring the beautiful neighboring towns of Locorotondo and Martina Franca. First, take a short drive to Locorotondo, which is known for its circular old town, where the whitewashed houses are arranged in a spiral. It's also famous for its excellent local wines, which are produced in the surrounding area. You don't need to spend too much time here. Just take a stroll through the streets of the old town. We were amazed at how beautiful and green the streets were. Since Locorotondo is pretty small, we recommend having lunch in the next town you'll visit. But it would be a shame to leave without at least stopping for a coffee at one of the cafes around the town center. It's the perfect chance to take in the beautiful whitewashed houses surrounding you. After leaving Locorotondo, your next stop is the charming town of Martina Franca, known for its stunning baroque architecture with grand churches and palaces lining the streets.
We sat down at Garibaldi Bistro. This is in the main square next to the huge cathedral here in Martina Franca. And yeah, we got some bruschetta. This is so good. The bread is just soaked enough in olive oil.
This is a nice setting, huh? It's square.
The restaurant was beautifully decorated with cacti and it has amazing views of Basilica di San Martino. The tortelli with taleggio cheese and pecorino fondue were very decadent, but delicious. Now it's time to head back to Ostuni as there are still plenty of small winding streets waiting to be explored. Incidentally, we had a few very windy days in Puglia, starting with this afternoon in Ostuni.
Never in my life have I experienced such strong wind. Okay. I can't. Okay.
Must push through.
Especially close to the seaside here in Ostuni, it is out of control.
But it's not been
So
like
is
this.
my hair.
It's not been like this. It's just today.
Yeah, just say.
Ostuni has a fantastic position within Puglia. You're very centrally located. You're about an hour and a half the most from anywhere. And if you want to have one base in Puglia, to explore Puglia, this is the spot. Whether it's Ostuni or somewhere very close by, this is the perfect spot.
And also the accommodation is quite affordable compared to other cities around it.
Out of all of our stays in this Puglia trip, this is the most affordable one for
And you
us.
can stay in such historical and beautiful houses.
After wandering the streets of Old Town Ostuni, stop by one of the many beautiful bars with stunning views of the seaside. We stopped at Bar Perso, where unfortunately we had to sit indoors because of the wind, even though it did offer amazing views. It was now time for Horia's pre-dinner snack, a delicious puccia with mortadella at crumb 35. For a more intimate outdoor dining experience, make sure you don't leave Ostuni without stopping by at Vinicolo.
We sat down outside of Vinicolo in this, what would you call this? Underpass. An amazing wine bar. They've got a huge collection of over 100 wines, most of them local, but all throughout Italy as well.
And the wind stopped-ish.
Yeah, it's actually really nice under the arch here. It's not cold anymore, it's not windy.
We shared a delicious platter of cheese and cured meats, paired with a few glasses of wine, and really enjoyed the privacy that this place offered. It's time to head home and pack up again because tomorrow you'll be off to your next place, heading south to the beautiful town of Lecce. But first, start day 8 with one last coffee here in Ostuni. For a beautiful, authentic Italian experience, we recommend heading to one of the cafes near Piazza della Libertà. Have your final coffee before leaving Ostuni and take some time to enjoy the vibrant atmosphere of the town.
You've got a 2-hour drive from Ostuni to Lecce, where you'll be checking in for the next 3 nights. Lecce is known as the Florence of the South for its stunning baroque architecture and is the second largest city in Puglia, after Bari, the regional capital. We were very happy with the apartment we rented and we can't recommend it more. It was right in the city center on the edge of the old town. It came with free parking and a private garage as well. The apartment was really well stocked, beautifully decorated, and it was also quite affordable. We only paid about $80 per night. Before heading out to explore the town, grab an early lunch at Bona Sciana. It's a lovely little bistro where you can enjoy delicious traditional puccia. You can also try the frisa classica, a staple of all Leccese cuisine. It's basically double-baked bread that's super dry, and you dip it in water before sprinkling it with oregano, olive oil, and some chopped tomatoes. Think of it as an old-school version of the bruschetta. Oh, and don't forget to have your first Aperol Spritz in Lecce. Okay, you've had some food, time to explore Lecce a bit more in depth.
We sort of stumbled upon Basilica di Santa Croce here in Lecce, and this is absolutely outstanding. The facade is so beautiful.
Yeah, so intricate.
So this basilica was built about 450 years ago to celebrate the victory of Christianity over the Ottoman Turks in the area.
I really love all the statues with griffins and even humans, like they're supporting the
All sorts
church.
of mythical creatures as well.
Super cool. And this is a perfect example of baroque architecture in southern Italy.
It was built around the 2nd century, that is like 1900 years ago. It used to be able to fit about 25,000 people. Now, for context, that is about a third of the Colosseum. Interestingly enough, it was only rediscovered about 100 years ago. So before that, it was buried for centuries. Nobody knew it was here. And it's also a place where they used to have gladiator combats. We are now on the side of Castello Carlo V. This was rebuilt in the mid-1500s when they won against the Ottomans. But initially, this was a castle that was built in the 12th century, and it was just rebuilt and refortified later on.
That's the most beautiful and understated balcony I've ever seen. This one with all the roses.
Yeah.
This one in the middle. It's very cold up here and very windy.
We are getting an amazing view of the city. We can see the seaside as well, direction of Albania in Greece.
Just the direction, not
Just the direction. It's really easy to get here. It costs €12 a person. You go in the palace across to buy your ticket. You get your ticket, you just cross the square back.
Yeah. There's
Take the lift.
There's no queues. It's like super simple.
You're only allowed 20 minutes up here, but with the current wind situation,
It's gonna be 2.
we've been here for about 4 minutes, and I think this is kind of it, really, for us.
We have really beautiful views of the town, and you can see the balconies. They have like small gardens up top. It's really nice.
After all that walking, it's time to sit down and enjoy coffee, some pastries, and maybe even an Aperol Spritz at Caffè al Vino. You'll get a lovely view of the square and the amphitheater. Be sure to try a pasticciotto with pistachio, which is the local pastry in Lecce, and the rustico, it's delicious and savory. And don't miss the locally famous Caffè Leccese while you're here. After sunset, take a stroll through the beautifully lit streets of the Old Town. Walk past Porta Napoli and keep exploring the charming alleys and squares. For dinner and drinks, we stopped by Al Baffo and sat in the cocktail bar area. They also have a restaurant just across the street, and they'll bring your food over if you order. The eggplant parmigiana was especially good, but we had a lot of fun trying all the different drinks. Day 9 kicks off with a short drive to one of the most beautiful beaches in Puglia, often called the Caribbean of Salento. We were there at the beginning of October, and luckily we had perfect weather. Clear skies and fairly warm seawater.
How was the water?
The water is a bit chilly, like very, very refreshing, but it's nice. It's manageable. I could have stayed for an hour. But the beach itself, and I mean this very seriously, is the nicest beach I've ever been to in Europe, by
Really?
far. By far, it's unbelievable. I think I walked, like 100 meters, and the sand was so fine and completely see-through. You could see everything. And the water only got to lower than my chest. So
Yeah, and the water seems really calm.
I think up until that formation of rocks over there. The water is still quite shallow, so you can just walk. It's so nice.
But the water is so blue. It's so beautiful.
It's so clear, like it's so see-through. Unbelievable.
Also, one of the best parts about this beach, besides how beautiful it is the fact that it's free to enter, so you don't have to pay for sunbeds or anything, which is rare to find on such nice beaches in Europe. Definitely Caribbean-style beach.
Just a short distance from the beach, you'll want to stop and admire the stunning rock formations and the turquoise sea at Torre Sant'Andrea. Locals come here to swim or even try cliff jumping. This place will definitely stay with us as one of the most naturally beautiful spots we've ever seen. Okay, it's about lunchtime now, so let's go grab some pizza just 2 minutes away at Babilonia. It offers amazing views of the sea, really casual and relaxed atmosphere, and delicious food for very affordable prices.
We drove another 20 minutes. We arrived to Otranto, which is the easternmost town in Italy, a port on the Adriatic Sea, and a town with very rich history. So let's go venture into the old town and see what we can find.
And I want to say people are still sunbathing. There's a beach right in the city center, and I've never seen water so blue inside the city center. So clear, so calm, such nice vibes.
Take a stroll through the old town and explore its charming narrow streets. You'll also find the beautiful Cathedral of Otranto with its 12th century mosaic floor and the impressive Castello Aragonese. After that, it's time to head back to Lecce and get ready for dinner. Since we were celebrating Laura's birthday today, we wanted to do something a little bit more special for dinner. We drove about 45 minutes outside of Lecce to the remote Masseria Le Stanzie. This place is an old olive oil mill that's been beautifully refurbished, and now you can enjoy dinner here in a rustic, romantic setting. The interior felt timeless, warm, and so authentically Puglian. What makes it even more special is that they don't have a professional chef. The food is prepared by some of the people who work at the masseria. The dishes were hearty and delicious, especially the slow-cooked pork and the potato pizza with tomatoes, capers, and anchovies. You can even take a tour of the old olive oil mill, and in the summer, dinner is usually served in their beautiful garden. Time to head home and get some rest, as tomorrow you'll be exploring more of southern Puglia.
You'll be spending the first half of day 10 outside of Lecce. If you're visiting in the summer and the weather is nice enough for the beach, we highly recommend going to Punta Prosciutto. It's a gorgeous sandy beach on the Ionian coast. Unfortunately, we couldn't enjoy it this time since it turned out to be one of the windiest days we've had in Puglia, and it was raining on and off. So we had to abandon our beach plans and hop back in the car to drive to the port town of Gallipoli. Gallipoli is famous for its historical town, which sits on a small island connected to the mainland by a bridge. It's also known for its beautiful old harbor where you can see fishing boats and yachts. Take a stroll through the old town in Gallipoli, but just know that you will have to park the car outside of the old town and walk across the bridge from there. For lunch, we sat down outdoors on one of the narrow streets and had some bruschetta with truffle mortadella at Napu. The streets of the old town in Gallipoli are so beautiful and charming with the real sense of calm. The harbor, however, was especially windy that day. Make sure you check off something that should be on everyone's list when visiting Puglia: a wine tasting at the local winery. We went to La Store Masseria, where we had a great time touring the winery and olive oil mill. I tasted some wines, but we were a bit underwhelmed by the food. For what it's worth, the lunch is optional and comes at an additional cost, so we'd recommend just sticking to the wine, which was really good. For your final evening in Lecce, take a stroll through the old town. It finally warmed up a bit, so we decided to sit down for an aperitivo before dinner. We stopped by Mare for an Aperol Spritz, then headed to Trattoria Le Zie for a very traditional Pugliese dining experience. The restaurant had that eating at grandma's house vibe, and even though the food took a while to arrive, we were kept entertained by the very animated crowds and bright lights. Days 11 and 12 are optional. After so much exploring, we like to add a couple of days for some relaxation in a quieter, more remote spot. If you have less than 2 weeks, feel free to skip this part of the itinerary or just extend your stay in one of the towns we've already visited. We love taking things slow sometimes, so 2 days of relaxed travel was exactly what we needed. Over time, we realized that booking stays in more remote locations gives you much better value for your money. And Italy definitely has no shortage of charming B&Bs run with a lot of care and love. We found a beautiful B&B in the small village of Giurdignano in the very south of Puglia. It was a small palace with only a few rooms, recently renovated, and it had this understated yet luxurious feel. The room was gorgeous, with high ceilings, an elegant bathroom, and the best part, a beautiful rooftop with sunbeds, umbrellas, and a small plunge pool with bubbles. The main garden and communal space were also beautifully designed. From the cast iron tables and chairs to the hanging plants and mandarin trees, not to mention the stunning pool, it was truly an oasis in an otherwise quiet and relaxed village. After checking into the stunning B&B, we headed to the nearby village of Minervino di Lecce for a quick lunch at Osteria Oregano. We decided to spend the rest of the day at the B&B, lying in the sun and lounging by the pool. With a bottle of wine made by the owners, we sat outside, enjoying the calm and the beauty of nature. We had an early night, excited for the next morning when we'd go explore one of the most beautiful spots in Puglia. What was going to be one of our favorite unexpected day trips in Puglia started with an hour-long relaxing drive along the coast. We sat down for coffee with an incredible view of the sea at L'Incanto and then crossed the bridge to our main destination.
We've arrived now at Il Ciolo in southern Puglia, which is supposedly one of the most impressive viewpoints, and so far it definitely lives up to the hype. It is absolutely incredible.
And it's so cool that I don't think there's sand there. It's just like a stone,
like
a
it's
flat
concrete.
stone. Yeah, like a concrete or something. Very cool.
This is so exciting. I cannot wait to get down there and jump in the water.
Honestly, I didn't know this existed in Puglia. I know the other beach was super hyped up, the one in Polignano, Mare, but this one is as beautiful, if not even more beautiful than that one.
Look how grand this whole canyon
Yeah.
is. I'm loving this.
What a great way to start the day. Now we're at the beginning of October and it's so warm, and it's gonna get even warmer the upcoming days. So it must be nice to have like such an extended summer here.
This doesn't look any worse than anything in the Amalfi Coast.
Horia went for a swim, and it turned out to be one of his favorite seaside experiences in Italy so far. We couldn't believe how this place is flying under the radar. It really was a spectacular setting. Driving along the coast on the way back, we decided to stop for lunch at a cliffside restaurant.
So we just arrived at Grotta del Conte. This is the restaurant we're hopefully gonna have some lunch in. And look at this insane view behind us.
It's been such a beautiful drive here
It's
along the coast.
hands down one of the most beautiful drives I've ever done along the coastline. This has been just
And
such
so relaxing, so few cars. Usually roads on the coast are kind of bendy and gets a bit scary, I guess.
I think we saw at least 10 different incredible photo spots. It's just like places you would have just wanted to stop and take the nature in.
So many cacti and succulents, like forests of them.
This southern part of Salento, the coastline here, is just out of this world.
They have so many beautiful grottos and so many beautiful beaches.
The day we were in the tiny village of Giurdignano, there was an annual festival going on with food, games, and live music. We spent some time here and had a lot of fun winning tiny bottles of limoncello.
Oh, yes!
Io quasi quasi verrei lì in mezzo.
Horia also tried a €4 local capocolo sandwich. For dinner, we chose Daucho's, one of 2 restaurants in the village. We had a very traditional meal paired with some local wine. It was absolutely delicious and incredibly affordable, around €20. This 2-day stop was exactly what we needed. It was active enough for our taste, but still slow-paced, and we loved getting to explore a lesser-known part of Puglia.
Day 13 begins with a longer drive to your final destination, the unique and stunning town of Matera. Even though it's not technically in Puglia, it's just an hour away from Bari, and it would be a real shame to visit Puglia without experiencing the beauty of Matera. This final stay and the whole experience of discovering Matera would end up being our favorite part of the entire trip. Matera is famous for its sassi, which are ancient caves carved into limestone cliffs. These homes date back thousands of years and are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Sassi di Matera is one of the most unique and well-preserved cave complexes in the world. Similarly to Alberobello, you have 2 choices when it comes to your accommodation. First, you can rent an apartment in the new town, which is literally minutes away from the historic town. This would offer a lot more space and it would be considerably more affordable. The second option that we went for is renting a historic cave in the old town, which offers a unique experience and better views.
Welcome to Matera. We literally just arrived and this place has already blown our minds. Such
Amazing.
a beautiful town.
So this is our view from our terrace. We wanted to splurge a bit for the last 2 nights in Italy, so we got a really, really cool room here.
Even so, the value for money is still absolutely incredible. Let's do a quick room tour.
So we have our own private terrace, which is huge. You have this little sitting room here and this lounge here. Really, really beautiful. So we can have breakfast here and do people watching and admire the whole scenery. As we go in, we have the living room. So this is a suite. You have a fireplace here, which I don't think we're gonna use. It's a beautiful couch. It's very posh.
So this is the dining table,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Look at that chandelier. Look at how tall the ceilings are.
I know, but this arch is just beautiful.
The bedroom is the most beautiful room in the whole place. So the bedroom is magical.
There's no door in the bedroom.
There's no door, and it's just this exposed rock, stone, whatever. Have you seen anything like this before? And it's huge. Look at this bed. It's so beautiful. Now finally, let's see the bathroom, which is amazing again.
It's in a second cave.
It's in a second cave. This is the bathtub, which is, again, one of a kind. It's like your
cave of
own
its own.
tiny cave here.
I think the water comes through that little,
Oh yeah, oh, that's cool.
like a little waterfall situation.
As soon as your check-in is done, head towards the historic town and get ready for a lot of stairs. were quite hungry, so we decided to grab a quick lunch in the charming outdoor setting of Conzato Norcineria. The food was honestly so delicious, both my mortadella sandwich and Laura's tuna burrata and sweet onion salad. We also shared what was probably one of our favorite dishes in Puglia, a bruschetta with stracciatella cheese and truffle. With lunch done, it's time to explore Matera, and one of the best viewpoints is from the Duomo Square. The sound of the live accordion really added to the authentic vibe, and we ended up spending more time here than we planned, just soaking in the sun and the beauty of the view. After wandering up and down the stairs in the old town for a few hours, we suggest getting some rest before heading out for a walk to enjoy the streets of Matera at night. After checking out the views from Piazzetta Pasquali at night, we enjoyed a pre-dinner craft beer at Birrificio 79, one of the best spots to have local beers in Matera. We had dinner at Lucani, and this place was absolutely gorgeous. It was a bit more on the fine dining side, which isn't usually our style, but we really enjoyed it. After dinner, head home and get ready for your final full day of the trip. Day 14 begins with a typical Italian breakfast in the piazza, sipping coffee and enjoying pastries while watching the world go by. It's time to explore the historic center of Matera. First, we suggest returning to Piazzetta Pascoli to take in the views during the day as well. Matera's beauty is hard to put into words. It's such a unique place, unlike anything else we've ever seen before. Some of the landscapes actually look like they're from a different planet. Another spot you shouldn't miss is Casa Grotto nei Sassi di Matera, a museum where you can see how people once lived in these caves. You'll find the exact items that would have been in a household at a time, and it only costs €5 to get in. From outside the small museum, you'll get amazing unobstructed views over the valley and the hill across, where you can see the oldest part of Matera, the first inhabited caves of the town. Next, you can visit Church of St. Mary of Idris. Unfortunately, they don't allow any photos or videos taken inside, so we ended up skipping this one. We needed a break from the sun and ended up stumbling upon Zipa Cafe, one of the most unique cafes with seats carved along the side of the cliff and with incredible panoramic views. Full disclosure, the streets of Matera have been some of the trickiest to navigate with the map, and we often ended up going the wrong way. However, this led us to discover even more of the town, and we loved every corner we stumbled upon. So, we definitely encourage you to just wander around and get lost, if you don't mind ending the day with a ridiculous step count. For dinner, we decided to make the most of our accommodation and its views. We went to a local Italian deli and grabbed a bag full of fresh bread, cheese, cured meats, and olives. Before heading back to enjoy our meal, we had one last aperitivo. We highly recommend stopping by Crialos for an evening drink. The views there were absolutely magical, they honestly didn't feel real. Both the craft beer and the Negronis were excellent, and this spot will definitely stay with us as one of the highlights of this whole trip. After a good night's sleep, it's time to pack up, check out, and get ready for your flight home. Most likely you'll be heading back to Bari, where this trip began, as is the closest airport to Matera. Since our flight was in the afternoon, we decided to make a quick stop in the historic town of Altamura and have lunch before heading to the airport. Altamura's old town, with its stone architecture, winding lanes and impressive buildings, offers a picturesque and historical atmosphere that feels almost timeless. We decided to stop here to admire the beauty of the historic town, and also because we'd heard they have some of the best focaccia in the region. And it definitely lived up to the hype. We tried some amazing focaccia with tomatoes from Antico Forno Santa Chiara, a place that's been around since 1423. We hope this video gave you some inspiration for your own trip to Puglia. For us, it was truly one of our favorite trips ever, definitely one we'll remember for a long time. Thanks for watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll definitely see you in the next one.